Sarawak University, Malaysia. Then 10th Best Paper on East Java Economic Forum, or EJAVEC, in 2018. Then in 2020, he got ENTAS Full Scholarship Awardee from National Taiwan University of Science and Technology. Then he's an assistant professor from Faculty of Economics and Business, Universitas Hayam Buruk Perbanas, from 2017 until now. The last one is he is a professional banking staff at Bank Muamalat Indonesia from 2013 until 2017.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, MC. Good morning, the distinguished speakers and participants. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I am Abu Amar Fauzi, the moderator of today's seminar. I am delighted to see you here and welcome all of you to this International Marketing Seminar and the 4th International Conference on Business and Banking Innovations with the theme, the strategy of digitalization in business for gaining competitive advantage after the pandemic. As we know that the devastating effect of the COVID-19 outbreak has dramatically changed how consumers behave, and consumers are currently more familiar with the digital technology. At this point, gaining competitive advantage amid the new digital culture needs several adjustments in our marketing strategies. Therefore, it attracts us to discuss any future digitalization strategies in business, particularly from marketing point of view. And we hope that today's agenda can give us beneficial insight for facing future challenges after the pandemic, especially in gaining sustainable competitive advantage. Ladies and gentlemen, in this seminar, we have 4 distinguished speakers from 4 different countries: Thailand, Nepal, Malaysia, and Indonesia. Before the presentation begins, let me inform you how the presentation will run. There will be 2 sessions for the seminar, in which each session has 2 speakers, followed by a Q&A at the end of the sessions. Every speaker will be invited to present the material for around 20 minutes. For the participants who want to ask any questions, freely, please send your questions on the room chat by mentioning your name, institution, or affiliation, and to whom the question is addressed. All right, let's start with the main agenda, the first session of the seminar. Our first speaker is Associate Professor Dr. Elisa Nasruddin from Malaysia. Assistant Professor Dr. Elisa Nasruddin completed her undergraduate program at Purdue University, USA, and master degree program at the University of Bradford in the United Kingdom. Then she earned a PhD degree from University Utara, Malaysia. Currently, she serves as an associate professor in the Graduate School of Business, University Science Malaysia. Besides her excellent performance in academia, she had outstanding industrial experiences, such as corporate consultant for Flextronics during 2018 and 2019, and consultant project for several companies, including Seagate Penang, Thunderbird, and MCD Network. Now, allow me to welcome Associate Professor Dr. Elisa Nasruddin to deliver his presentation. Professor Elisa Nasruddin, time is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi
wabarakatuh. Moderator Abu Amar Fauzi, Pak Abu. Good morning,
bro.
From Malaysia, Pulau Pinang. My greetings, salam to Pak Yudi over there. I'm most delighted as part of USM to come together today on a virtual platform with University Hayam Buruk Perbanas today, and it is a very pleasant experience for me to be part of a very auspicious occasion today. Juga selamat pagi tu Ibu Tatik di sana. Lama kita tak berjumpa.
Ya, Dr. Elisa.
Ya, masa yang elok insya-Allah. Ini
Thank you.
saya ke sana hendaknya.
Okay.
And a very good morning to the panel of speakers and my very best wishes that today will be a great occasion for all the panel of speakers, the secretariat who's been working hard to make this happen, and to the panel of presenters of the this event called Marketing International Seminars and the 4th International Conference on Business and Banking Innovations. I'm very happy to be part of this occasion. So perhaps I could share my screen, and I hope I am able to do it. Okay, let me see where it is. Right. Pak Abu, are you able to?
Yes, already.
Alhamdulillah,
Yeah.
Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah. So perhaps I have 20 minutes. Time is quite short. I'll give my very best.
Okay, bro.
And I'm very happy that Ibu Tatik gave me the opportunity to speak first in this occasion. I will do my very best to open the session and hope this will bring us to the next level of discussion. So today, my interest is actually to discuss with everyone here today a very interesting topic for me, and it's when you talk about digitizing business post-pandemic, I'm coming from the context of humanistic capitalism. Because most of the time, we are always talking about capitalism in a way that it benefits the economy, but we also need to understand that more and more with the pandemic, how can capitalism be benign and helpful towards society and economy even more today, right? So I'm looking at in the context of humanistic capitalism from in the 21st century digital transformation. So with that in mind, I also like to introduce the context of futures in digital transformation. So it is not about the future as in the stock exchange market, but it is about the future, and it is based on an epistemology which is well known in amongst the officials in UNESCO, and we talk a lot about the futures of foresight. What is the foresight of digital transformation? So in order to do that, we have to anticipate the digital landscape of the future. And as we do that, the question I ask, are we living in a used futures? When we say used futures, we are referring to a future that is long past, that needs to be relooked, that needs to be given a new facelift. Are we still in the old future? Can we move towards a new future that we want to live in? So, but let me understand with you today what's going on with the technology, the context of technology, digital economy, the business today. We know that there is a lot of talk about IR 4.0, Industrial Revolution 4.0, skills are important for us, new skills that shows that we are embracing the digital economy, right? So, but if you talk about that, then we need what we call human capital transformation. But if you want to work with human capital transformation, there will be inequity, because there will be those who have low access to it, those who have access to it, whether they're in a business environment or they're in non-business environment, they're school children, they're adults, any strata of the society, the issue of low digital penetration will be there, either because of access to technology is not there, or because we just are not competent enough to use the technology. So with that, also, there's just so much different new technologies coming up, and we have to learn to innovate, being adaptive with digital technologies. Take, for example, the academia in University Hayam itself. I'm very sure every one of us grapple every day to make sure that students can go online to classes, whether they're really learning, whether we're embracing the new technology, whether we're using the best technology to ensure that students are learning and engaging with us. And that includes even to the extent, do we use virtual reality in our teaching and learning? So innovation is a big part of using technology. Yet when you think about it, this particular article will show you, it was published in Harvard in 2019. It says that digital transformation is not about technology. Digital transformation is not about technology. Now that is an interesting point to note, because if it is not about technology, what is it about? What is it about? It is none other than, most important, is about the willingness to understand what you need to do about your vision, your mission, the things that matters most in our life. How do you ensure that the well-being of the people are taken care? How does technology serves you much better than it was before? Can we ensure that we are not servants to technology, but technology is helping us to become better in what we do, right? So this is what is lacking, because we should not just embrace technology because our neighbors are doing it, the factory on the other side are doing it. It is to understand the function of digital technology, the function of transformation in a way that makes sense for the future of the organization, the future of the employees themselves. Now, let's look at another point of view. This is coming from Scientific American, and this was published a long time ago in 2006. It says, fact or fiction, NASA spent millions to develop a pen that would write in space, whereas the Soviet cosmonauts used a pencil. So this is written from the context of when NASA went to space, they were considering the astronauts had to record their experience, what was going on in their exploration. So the pen, because a lot, whatever's in in space, right, is anti-gravity. So the ink from the pen was not going down. So when they want to write, the ink they are not able to write with the pen. So they were coming up with technology. They spent millions to develop a pen that would write in space. Now, what did the Soviet cosmonauts do? Just bring a pencil, right? It's still a technology, right? And it works. So why are we spending so much for a pen when we can just use a pencil? So this is the thing, if you use this in the context of business today, I mean, should we use ERP? Should we use automated technology? Should we use robotics technology in our business environment just because others are using it? So what is the context of usefulness of technology or digital information in our organization? We need to really understand, right? It's a very important context for us, and I find that will always be something that is useful for us to consider. Now, then we talk about if we talk about digital technology, do we have what we call a digital utopia landscape now at the end of the day, or is it dystopia? Can we have a world where it is a positive environment for us, or could it be possible we'll never be offline, right? So much so that we're always using our handphone, and there are a lot of books talking about detoxify your world. You got to take time off from your phone so that you can think and fresh and feel fresh with the world that is not using any technology. So we'll never be offline. Is that good or is that bad? A point that is important as we talk about business going to digital, because the more we think about new products and services, the more we need to go digital, the more the customers are embracing technology, the children are embracing technology. Where will we go with this? We will never stop. So there are a lot of narratives surrounding digital technology, and a lot of it, I'm just putting a few here, but I just want to say that many of these are connecting to the whole idea of we have to relearn ourselves. We have to retool ourselves, right? For example, the whole idea of cloud system. Everything is now into the cloud. Everyone can go in and edit our documents together. We have access to the documents. We have what we call social media platforms. So we have social media platform that anything that is connected to innovation and service for the customers will be going through the social media platform. It's convenient. All customers like that. So you have to embrace that, right? So it is also what we call, when we have that, we can equalize the learning environment. Everybody has access to it now. Even academic publications, you can access the online open access publication. And it's a beautiful process. Nobody has to pay anything. Anyone can access it. Even if you're not an academic, you can access it, right? And then we talk about innovative approach in delivery, right? So everybody starts talking about how can you be innovative using the online platform. In fact, when you talk about customers, right? With customers, it's not anymore one directional, it's co-creation. Co-creation is a very important topic in marketing now. A lot of, we as academics, we do a lot of research on co-creation as a concept with customers. How can you co-create the product or service delivery so that it is customized to the needs of the customers? And you can do it when you use online services, right? In fact, new market penetration is big now, and hybrid business models are in, right? You do not need a physical space, factory space anymore, right? You can just outsource it to a distributor to send the products or services to your customers. So you can have hybrid business models. You don't need a place, a setup. Isn't this wonderful? Right? Everything is online transactions. And of course, adaptive use of technology for customer interface. Imagine getting your customer to experience the product that just came out from your factory line through virtual reality. It is fascinating and they like it. And perhaps, in fact, the younger generation loves virtual reality. So just using these adaptive technologies will be fantastic. Facebook has just bought Metaverse, and this is their way to get into customers using virtual reality. So everyone is moving in, and we want to be part of what's good about all this. Yet, when you think about it, right, are we in the use features of digital economy? We have here in front of us the 4 big tech giants here. They're from Amazon, Apple, Facebook, and Google, right? In 2019, they were charged for monopolizing the digital economy, right? And they are today. Just look at Apple phones. You can have the latest version of Apple phone. In fact, the latest versions of these Android phones also, it comes with a battery that will die by a certain time frame. The life cycle is when it's over, you have to buy a new phone. All right, so they're monopolizing the whole digital economy. Customers love their phones. We love the product and services. And so yet, this is what's going on, all right? These are the 4 tech giants who have been on the market, and we want to compete with them. China is competing very well with them, actually, right? So is South Korea, Japan comes third. So we, Malaysia, Indonesia, and all the developing nations want to be part and parcel of this big, big new economy, if you will. But if you look at what I call the futures wheel, this is a futures wheel where I map up what's happening in 2050, possibly. I'm very sorry if you cannot read this, but I will just highlight the most important thing about this futures wheel. It shows you what happens if something happens, what happens after that, what's the impact of it. For example, if I were to help you go through this, suppose we talk about, let me take one of this. Right, for example here, if you talk about digital priorities, not everyone have equal access to technology. So the impact is unequal access to technology. If there is an unequal access to technology, there will be further gaps in digital divides. If there is further digital divide, what happens? Possibly less privileged learners earning income on the streets, and huge contradictions in wisdom of techno-led world. In other words, while you have every one of us embracing technology, there are those who are not embracing technology. These are the less privileged, and they don't have access to this, right? They are further and further in the income gap, and we will have a situation where there is no inclusiveness, right? If there is any inclusiveness, it will be defined along the lines of industry relevant, those who have access to technology and those who do not. And what does it mean in the end? It may also mean we redefine the meaning of happiness. We are only happy if we're surrounded by technology. We're only happy if we can embrace the digital economy. We're successful if we're part of the digital economy. But should it be the case? It is the question that we have to ask ourselves. So then I ask myself, then if we talk about digital business post-pandemic, right? What's important is to understand that at the end of the day, can we meet the 17 goals of sustainable development? That is, we have an aim by 2030 that we could achieve the 17 goals. So can we have a much more humanistic capitalism? So while we talk about the corporate environment, serving the society with infrastructure that is with advanced technology, can we also ensure there is social responsibility that in the end, the 17 goals are being met? Can we do both at the same time? So I ask then these key questions. At the end of the day, all of us are going to be living in an urban environment, right? You're going to be in modern cities. So the future is about sustainable cities in 2030. But what does it mean for humanistic capitalism? There are a few questions we have to ask ourselves because we're going beyond post-pandemic right now, post-COVID-19. We have to ask ourselves, can we continue to behave as normal over a long period without running risk of serious incidents? We have this COVID-19 as a crisis for us, but can we in the future go on with our lives without another serious incidents of this sort, right? Or even if you talk about disasters, if you will, natural disasters. How has COVID-19 changed our perspective on what's important in the future? And then therefore, what is the future of digital economy post-pandemic? But also what's the future of social justice post-pandemic? Because we have to understand that there's a lot of injustice going on even before COVID-19. But with COVID-19, it brings out even more the issues of the society, whether it's poverty, malnourishment, whether it's climate change issues, whether it's all about employment issues, whether it's children not having access to education on an equal basis. More questions, but I perhaps want to connect you to the most important thing here, that actually what we're trying to say here is that the whole idea of why we're looking at humanistic capitalism is to understand that this important question that I want to bring here in light here. Is there a new perception in the stakeholders' mind on the potential harm posed by certain institutions or power plays? In this case, we're referring to the business environment. Are there stakeholders out there questioning what's going on in the business environment? Who are the stakeholders, right? And is it related to certain lifestyle changes that society wants? For example, if you think about the world we live in today, there's a lot of issues with regards to food security. There's a lot of issues with regards to that. So much so people are talking about farming, urban farming, or farming that is connected to ensuring sustainability of the environment and sustainability of the society, right? Among other things. And there's also a lot of talk about how we should engage in what we call the sharing economy. A sharing economy in an economy is where it is not profit-centered, but an economy of a business model where the capital accumulation and sharing is owned by the community themselves, right? And in fact, in the much more urbanized, developed nations like the Scandinavian, they use a lot of sharing economy in the communities themselves, and they're very advanced. So we are perhaps in a used futures if we think about competing in a world of digital business for our own selves. But what we need to do, in fact, even in the institution level, is to share our leadership in terms of how transformation can be better for the future of the city we live in. So again, are we going through what we call a dystopia at the end of the day? So dystopia is a world where there's havoc, anything goes, you can put a plot of ink, a paint, and then you cannot control what the outcome of what is going on. But can we control? We should be able to control. So I would like to share with you 4 key scenarios of the future. So we say key scenarios of the future, we are referring to 4 important typologies: the brewing storm, the wild card, the business as usual, and the flash in the pan. This scenario of foresight is much used actually in any studies about the future. So technology use this very much, and this is a good way for even us academics and students to learn about. If you want to understand strategic management, right? You want to be able to understand the future of the digital economy, for instance. You can look at it from what we call typology scenarios. And normally we have 2 quadrant mapping, which you have where you have 2 variable mapping, where you have the one on the horizontal quadrant and the one on the vertical quadrant. So, and these scenarios, if you will, allow us to understand what possibly could happen in the future. And in fact, if I want to explain to you what this means here, is that COVID-19 was a wildcard scenario for all of us, because we did not think it would happen. But when it happened, we did not expect it to happen. When it happened, it became something that led to severe consequences because we were not prepared for it. So it was a wildcard for the whole entire universe, actually, if you will, right? Even the advanced nations were not ready for it, right? Unlike the brewing storm, a brewing storm is something that may happen in the future. You have to watch out. The signs are there. You got to be careful. It's a storm brewing, all right? And it will happen, but you've got to prepare for it. And of course, the other 2 scenarios are something that is easily managed. Business as usual means no matter what, the fundamentals remain unchanged. But if anything, if it changes, it's flash in the pan, meaning you can deal with it, you can solve it, right? So if you look at this metaphor, showing the metaphor, I think I have the metaphor in here, where I want to show you an example of what it means about the future of digital business, right? The future of digital business what does a wildcard scenario look like? What's a brewing storm? What's a business as usual, which means no matter what, business will be open. We're open all day, no matter what, we can handle it. Or is it a flash in the pan? If there is a problem, we can solve it. But if you think about the brewing storm, right? It means, if I were to go back here, the 2 quadrant mapping I want to show you is what in the future if we have, because we're talking about digital business, we have high degree of digital literacy against low degree of digital literacy. Or we have, because of injustices in the world out there, we may have rising injustices, or everything remains as status quo as it is today, right? So if you map all that together, you will have 4 potential scenarios, right? Where brewing storm will be a time when there's rising injustice and high degree of digital literacy. You've got to be careful, because as everyone embraces the digital transformation, and you will have rising injustice, you got to be careful. What would it mean? Would it mean there'll be riots out there? There'll be political recession, there'll be economic recession. What does that mean? And also, if it's a wild card, you can't imagine what it is. That is when you may have the combination of rising injustice and low degree of digital literacy, right? No matter what, 20 years down the road, people are not embracing technology the way it should be, appropriately, and there's rising injustice, right? So if I could share with you that potentially what brewing storm looks like, this is my depiction from my research, what it is like if you have a brewing storm in a world that we need to embrace digital economy for businesses. In that world where there's rising injustice but high degree of digital literacy, you can expect there is an obsession with urban lifestyle. Everyone wants to have their own gadget. The product and services are oriented towards the needs of consumers, and we consume. Even those in the urban, in the rural community will have their own extensive gadget lifestyle that we want. We work to buy to consume. So this obsession with urban lifestyle. And in fact, in density in urban locations is high, right? People want to move towards the urban environment and get employed in digital business, in digital economy, but we won't have any communal connection because we're always using the phone to connect. So when do we come together and do, say, urban farming, farm together, face to face? That will be low. And there will be work-life imbalance because it's skewed towards productivity at workplace with high automation. Local wisdom is not valued. So if we have our older generation who knows what good agricultural wisdom is about, or good what we call wisdom in work culture is about, everything you can learn through Professor Google. Why bother learning through local wisdom? Access to information about society is there for everyone, and data analytics lead to manipulation by industries, which we know there's a lot of cyber security issues right now, even that. And aging society, of course, are marginalized because this is a world where aging society cannot keep up, right? 20 years down the road, I won't be able to know much about digital world if I'm not connected to it as I grow older and older. So this is the world, the scenario of a brewing storm. How about if you look at the wildcard? What do you see? So wildcard is when you don't expect, but it happens, it has bad repercussions to us. For example, here would be rising injustice and low degree of literacy. Can you imagine that combination? What would that mean? Poverty amongst the communities. But when there's poverty, you compensate with subsidies. They are still not happy. There may be protests and demonstrations as usual. There's a lot of demonstrations going on, even in the United States. On and off. It will continue in all over the world. Social security continues and dependence on government continue, right? Because the poor, there is a divide between the poor and the rich. Low awareness for, the idea of sharing. How do we share together? Come in a shared economy. We do not know how to live together. There is no social capacity for change. Very little of that. The younger generation, of course, adopts and embraces new technology, but there is no learning of apprenticeship from local wisdom, people who know a lot about how to make things together. The idea of craftsmanship might be very low. And of course, low understanding of civic society. Civic society is a society that is responsible to its environment, connecting with humanity, learning to live together. Of course, investors' influence over what well-being lifestyle also is there. Where investments go, that's where we define what is well-being lifestyle. And social media takes on a new revolution towards anti-modernization, because as you see, even in COVID-19, with the current virus and vaccination, there are two camps. Those who are for the vaccination, those who are not, who are against vaccination. So you see there is a revolution going on right now, even then. So much so that the context towards anti-modernization is already seen here right now, right? The idea of vaccination connects back to who have better privileges in what they can access, whether you can travel overseas, we can go to a particular location or not. So this being defined as what we're all about. And of course, this may lead to political fallout and recession. Now, imagine this is a negative scenario. It's a wildcard scenario here. So this is all in relation to digital economy, if you will, right? I probably won't go through the business as usual and flash in the pan because it's much more easier to understand. But what we want is to understand Can we have a utopian worldview? Can we move towards a world that's a lot of well-being? As we move towards digital economy, the business environment, and here we are in an academic environment, we are able to lead and share our knowledge and what it means to have a much more utopian world in a world that is digitally transformed, right? So I want to share with you 7 trends that's out there, but it is not quite embraced by the business environment just yet, right? It is shown as part of the it's connected to the world where in the non-business sector are gradually moving towards it. But the business environment must be part of it, and we perhaps academia can actually do a lot more research and teach along this line. The 7 trends. Number 1, the government plays an important role. So government is there to create what we call the public good, common public good, where everyone has access to good technology, right? But it is where that digitally networked enterprise must come in to work with the government to create what we call common public good, where everyone works with technology in an appropriate way that makes sense, not for profit, just for profit per se. Second is what we call citizenship advocacy. In other words, each one of us in where we come from, our society, there are certain issues that we want to fight, which it could be poverty elimination, which is the underprivileged access to education, which is climate change, which is perhaps disaster management. So there is a need for us to use the digital platform to understand how can we socially transform our society or help to transform our environment through the concept of social innovation. And this can be actually led by independently run enterprises. In fact, there are enterprises out there who believes in citizenship advocacy, but the choice of using the digital platform is not as high as it should be. Third is the whole context of competing and collaborating, right? So while we compete, we actually should be collaborating as well. Rather than what the big 4 tech giants are doing, we should be collaborating so the small enterprises can collaborate with the big corporations actually as digital entrepreneurs with social mission, right?
Apologies, Prof. Elisa. Yes. 3 more minutes, maybe.
Okay, all right, we're almost there. All right, trend number 4 is you pivot towards the SDG goals. We don't talk a lot about SDG goals, only that we want to take care of environment. But SDG goals here, we should pivot towards smart cities and creative cities. There's a lot of talk about talking about smart cities, but at the same time, we want to focus on how we can use technology to embrace the notion of fighting injustices in the cities. Also, the trend on social media, right? How that is influencing the whole idea I was talking about co-creation. Can we move towards digital citizenship? A lot of times there's unethical use of the digital platform. So even when the business talk about transformation, they must show the responsibility towards digital citizenship. And trend number 6, while the businesses talk about what products and services they offer, they should also allow connecting with the society, what we call the bottom-up, multiple centers of knowledge where the communities are together with the businesses coming up solutions to solve the problems within the city itself. And last but not least, the symphonic network of Gotong Royong, which all are aware, is about coming together, working together to help transform the external focus of ecosystem. The more digitized we are, the more we have to have a face-to-face interaction. It has to work both ways, right? And I want to end this actually with this particular slide where if you look at it, at the end of the day, we want to create a much more utopian world where there is less digital divide and the digital childhoods we have, say 20 years down the road, we are like childhoods in the world of digital economy because we're learning. And we move 20 years down the road, we're going to be mature, but we have great memories. So we call it the digital childhoods. Now everyone have a childhood memories, but not everyone is going digitized. So we call what we call digital childhoods. We know what the digital dangers are, and therefore we know our digital priorities. And instead of just IR 4.0, it's IR 5.0 now. It's about being ethical, understanding what's and connecting with 21st century local wisdoms. The local wisdom is coming from our generations, older generations, who understand what is good work ethics, what is good work culture, what is craftsmanship all about, right? And the more we go digital, the more we make things with our hands. That's the best, actually. And we will then have what we call livelihood competencies, resilience, if you will. There's a lot of research on resilience now. Can we brave our future, being much more resilient post-pandemic, right? And a bigger collaborative framework rather than competing among ourselves. If he's embracing technology, I'm going to embrace it better than him. No, we can learn from each other, actually, right? And I think that's the last of my slide, where I'm going to say that at the end of the day, the key to positive transformation of the digital landscape requires a decolonizing mentality of youth futures. We are so colonized by the fact that we have to embrace technology. Yet, what's more important is we want to increase positive impact, want to increase collaborative work and anticipatory frameworks, which means we can anticipate, imagine the social change we want. So, which means local wisdom in a sharing economy is important. And with that, we'll have what we call humanistic capitalism, the idea of artificial understanding some aspect of the future, where science coming from technology, and arts, means creativity, possibility thinking, intuition, local wisdom, imagination is coming through, rather than us being colonized and following the trends of technology, what technology is showing in our eyes. We tell ourselves the power of the humans, the power of imagination, the power of intuition is much more stronger than the power of robots. We do not want to be robots consumed by what technology tells us what we need to do, how to do anything. So it's vision-directed, inclusive consciousness, ethics-centered. We recharge our social mobility for change in a digital economy. So with that, I thank you.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Elisa Nasruddin, for giving such informative and interesting presentations. And I try to highlight what Professor Elisa has just said before, that although we have a lot of opportunities to embrace technology in business, but also we face many challenges, especially for in social injustice. So we have to strengthen our local wisdom. It's very important to embracing technology, so we can use technology in balanced ways, and also consider about the social justice and others social cultural problem amid the embracing digital technology. Okay, actually I received a couple of questions here, but we have to keep first, and then we can continue. After that, we can discuss Q&A session. Okay, the next speaker is Professor Dr. Abdul Mongit from Indonesia. Professor Dr. Abdul Mongit completed an undergraduate program in economics at Universitas Airlangga. He continued his Master of Banking at Bangun University Wales, United Kingdom. Then he received his PhD degree from University Sultan Zainal Abidin, Malaysia. He also earned a professional certification for banking risk management from PSMR and LSPP. Currently, he serves as a full professor at the Faculty of Economics and Business, Universitas Daya Moruq Perbanas. He also has several industrial experiences as a consultant in various institutions such as Bank Academy International German, EFG World Bank, AusAid Access to Finance, Ministry of Finance, Bank in Indonesia Central Bank, Indonesian Financial Authority, Coordinating Ministry of Economics, and Frankfurt School of Management. He is also an active columnist in several prominent national newspapers and also a trainer of risk management. Now, allow me to welcome Professor Dr. Abdul Mongit to deliver his presentation. Professor Mongit, time is yours.
Okay, thank you very much, our friend Candidate Dr. Abu Amar.
Thank you
Ya.
both.
Very good morning. Yeah.
Very good
Okay,
morning.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Yeah, I would like to share my screen. Yeah, first. Okay, sorry, a little bit delay. Is it now okay, Pak Abu? Okay, okay. First, I would like to thank to Allah because Allah has given us mercy and blessing, so we can attend this conference. Yeah, of course, I'm very glad, even it is virtually. Yeah, and of course, we hope that we will have the event in person, maybe next year, lah, yeah. We all miss the what we call it. I think the way the rush to the airport, long delay in the airport and etc. So we miss all of that. Yeah. Second, I would like to say my salawat and salam to be with our Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. And then the third one is I would like to thank to the organizing committee for inviting me to speak. Of course, my presentation will talk about the related to the topic, but it is more economics, yeah, more macroeconomic. And I would like to talk about the impact of COVID and the recovery and etc. About the relating to this pandemic. Yeah. If we look at our side, I think we can see that the situation is much different from compared to say the previous year, in 2021 or 2022. Situation is totally different now. We can see that the street is full of vehicle, and then the street vendor is there, or at least among us, maybe at least we have one dose vaccinated. Yeah, that is the new thing that we experience from this. Oh, thank you, Dr. Elisa. I think the presentation is very nice and very good, and will keep guiding to us how to do research related to the digital transformation. Thank you very much. Now, then I think when we talk about the impact of the COVID-19 on the economy, we notice that it is the only pandemic that has impacted the entire world. Yeah. Previously, nothing like that. When we talk about the Spanish flu and things, the impact is not like what happening with this COVID-19. All countries experiencing severe economic, and of course, all the impact of the crisis and etc. is the lower economic class. That is always there. But the question now is 2022 will be the year of the recovery, full recovery, or maybe will be only scattered recovery. Some recover, some yeah. If we look at the say 2020, when we talk about the impact of the COVID, we can see here that the almost all nations, all countries experience what we call it negative economic growth, except two countries. That is China and then the Vietnam. Why China? Because China experienced negative impact of the COVID in 2019. So because they experience in the first part, yeah. So yeah, and then the Vietnam. It is Vietnam with little bit very miracle, yeah, the Vietnam. And then we look at the impact on the say unemployment. oh, every country experience what we call it dramatic spike in the unemployment. It is because of the lockdown, because of the social distancing, and etc. And Indonesia, of course, is not in. We look at, I think we increase our unemployment. Yeah, of course, it is official figure, because official figure usually only talk about the formal. If you look at the informal sector, maybe the situation is maybe much higher. Maybe we can, at the peak of the pandemic, we have maybe 10 or 15%. So maybe more than the Singaporean population is unemployed if we look at the Indonesia at that time. Yeah. Then the other very dramatic change is on the debt. Yeah. Why? Because of the only possible source of economic growth or consumption and extra is only government. So the government try to push the economy by spending. And we all know that not all the country has a very strong fiscal position. So they have to borrow. Yeah. We can see here in Indonesia, we reach almost 5% from GDP on the new deficit. That is, the situation is very serious in the future, because debt must be repaid. That is the situation. This is to push the economy. The government use the debt, even it is based on the foreign debt, or maybe using in the market base, like what is done by the Indonesian government by issuing sukuk or issuing the government bond. We look at the global economy compared to, say, 2020, 2019, and 2021, we can see that we expect that in the 2022 we will have a better situation. Yeah, we expect that we have a better situation. Yeah, but the situation is may not as bright as we expect. Yeah. Okay. And then we look at the U.S. economy. Why we talk about U.S.? Because U.S. is the biggest global economy, and all things happen there in terms of economy or even in politics will impact to the global economy. We can see that the American economy is also like a yo-yo. Yeah, sometimes the expectation is very good. Sometimes then the expect in the other indicator they have a very bad situation. We can see that I think the U.S. will based on the many studies like from Federal Reserve, they predict that 2022 there will be fully recovered economy. Then China, of course. For all us living in the Asia, yeah, I think the China should be our most interested country, because of the China imported a lot of things from the Indonesia, from Malaysia, from the other Southeast Asia. And when the China is growing, its economic growth increase, usually they will have what we call impact on the economic growth in the partners country. Yeah. This is I think the China is now starting to change the direction of economic growth from the investment based to the what we call it more on consumption. So I think that in the situation may not very good for us, because of the China will try to reduce the economic growth. And of course, if we look at the data on the Chinese economy, especially on the industrial production, we can see that the economic industrial production is starting to decrease from time to time. Yeah, it is because of the trade war and with the US and etc. But the China is now trying to balancing the economy from the very high economic growth to be more on how to stabilize the economy. Of course, if we look at this data, because of the China industrial production is in 2020 relatively lower than the growth. Yeah, in terms of the growth is much lower than previous year. Yeah, I think the situation also bring a very bad impact on the global economy. For example, in the car industry is not operating in full capacity because of the lack of the chip to control the electronic control unit of every car. So, and mostly it is produced in China. That is the problem. Yeah, it is because of the pandemic. And then when we talk about the Indonesia, Indonesia, I think is yeah, we got a problem during 2020. Yeah, we dropped our economic growth dropped very dramatically, but now we have been recover at the say 5% a year. That is very impressive, but I think we still can have a higher economic growth because of our economy is very dynamic. Yeah, our economy, Indonesian economy, is very dynamic and usually can grow higher, especially if we compare to the year in 1990s. Yeah, before the Asian crisis, we have say 9-7% of growth annually. Of course, if we look at the 2020 and 2021, we can see that the COVID bring a very, very devastated impact. Yeah, after the COVID, only agriculture sector grew. This is traditional one. Yeah, only agriculture sector. And previously, when we talk about agricultural sector, it is usually very neglected, and then it is becoming the supporting of the national economy. Is something very cheap. Of course, the knowledge-intensive services like Gojek, like Grab, and etc., or marketplace, they increase quite dramatic because of the COVID, especially when we talk about the lockdown, when we got the social distancing. I think that is in the 2020 and 2021. And of course, who is the most victim of this crisis? I think the business, small business, yeah. Maybe also the university, yeah. Enrollment decrease, and so this is in the situation. 80% of the company, yeah, they say that 80% say that they sales drop. Yeah, even when we look at our central bank survey, 87%. So the situation is not very good for the small business, especially that when they cannot transform their business from the business into the digital related. Yeah. And we look at the survey by the UNDP and the Economic Faculty University Indonesia. They say that for the micro business, 86%, small, 87%, and then medium 91% and drop the share. So it is very bad situation. So I think I think there is a lot of factors that make us very optimistic that the global economy and the Indonesian economy will be better because of we look at the global investment is now recovered. Yeah, global investment now recovered, and then the trade volume, international trade volume now recovered, and then global sale 2021 at the end of 2021 also recovered. It means that from this data we can expect that the 2022 it will be better. Yeah, we expect that this will be better. Economic activity will be better. And then when we look at the various studies, for example, from JP Morgan, they say that the 2022 will be the full global recovery. Yeah, based on this study. Yeah, it means that this is the signal that the economy will be better. Yeah, in the 2022. And then the other thing is when we look at the global output gap, this global output gap is like this one. When the event is and then how recovery is very fast compared to 2009 global financial crisis in 2008. Yeah, the recovery required 36 quarters. And we see based on the chart, yeah, it seems that the global pandemic can recover much faster. That is we call it the V curve, not L curve, because L curve is like 2008 global financial crisis. I think the situation will be will not good. So many studies support that the recovery after the pandemic will be much faster than compared to global financial crisis. Yeah. JP Morgan also predict that in 2022 the global economy will grow 4.3%, and then the emerging market will be 4.6%, and China 4.7%. So it is all predict that it is positive. Yeah. However, there is a risk. Yeah, this is the what we call it, the study by the Goldman Sachs. This is the problem related to the interest rate. Why? Because the United States now is experiencing what we call it the high inflation, and that means that if the Federal Reserve increase the interest there, so they will attract a lot of money from the other side of the world. That means it will increase the interest in the emerging market, or maybe also in the other countries. That will, of course, will have a negative impact on the national economy because of the what we call it. We can say it as capital drain, because they try to invest the money there to the United States. Yeah, it is good for the America, but very bad for the whole economy, because all the countries now is trying to decrease the interest rate because of they try to expedite the economic recovery. So if the United States or Federal Reserve increase interest rate, the exchange rate will also change, and it will threaten the global economic recovery.
I'm sorry, Prof. 3 more minutes, Prof.
Okay, yeah. And then we talk about the global problem is about the vaccination. Yeah, vaccination is not equally distributed. Yeah, I think that is the problem. But the important thing that we have to remember is that the situation after the vaccination is very good. It means that the effectivity of the vaccine is unquestionable. Yeah, this you can see. After we got the first jab, the chance to get infected is less than 1%. Yeah, but this is the new thing that we have to consider. That is what got to be new threat from the Omicron. That is, and then now Indonesia is in Jakarta, yeah, especially the infection rate daily increase quite dramatically. However, if we look at the vaccination rate in Indonesia, it's now much better if we compare to other emerging economy. I think we still have a very optimistic about the future of the Indonesian economy. Yeah, and that is China is now getting a better situation, and then we look at the situation like this one. I think we believe that 2022 is going to be the year of recovery for the global economy and Indonesia. Of course, there is a risk, what we call it hard landing, because of if the infection rate is increase again, and then the lockdown, and then the social distancing will be applied again, and then the economy will get impacted. Yeah. Of course, if you look at the global economy and even in the Asia, some countries experience even long before the COVID is they experience with the low growth and high indebted. That is the problem. Yeah, that is problem. The country like that will be very difficult. And of course, this East Asia and Pacific will be the source of the growth. For Indonesia, this is the thing that we have to think twice about the prospect of. Even the situation is better because there is some change in the policy and etc. And they say that the Indonesian economic growth in 2022 will be lower than the expectation. However, we look at the vaccination, we look at the demography, bonus demography. Yeah, it means that we have younger people. It means that we also rid of the natural resources and etc. I think I'm very optimistic in that Indonesia will experience very fast recovery after the COVID. So I think this is the important thing that we have to keep in our mind, that we have to recover. We have to make our economic growth is higher, and that means all the business and etc. will operate normally, although maybe not fully 100% similar to the previous crisis, but the new normal maybe mean it is 80% or 90% normal from previous crisis. I think that is the issue that I would like to raise. That is that we have a very prospect to recover in 2022. That is. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Prof. Muhammad, for highlighting several issues in global economic conditions. And let me give a brief summation about what Professor Muhammad said, that although we experiencing negative consequences about the COVID-19, about the increasing government debt, and then increasing unemployment, also have a negative economic growth. But we have to optimistic to face the futures, because there are several criteria for recovery, such as global sales, global investment, and also GDP and trade volume is increasing. So we have to optimistic, and like what the Prof. Elisa said before, we have to gotong royong, work together to increase our economic. Okay, it's very interesting session for the first session of our seminar, and let's go to Q&A answer. I think we have 15 minutes to have a Q&A answers, and the first in the chat room we have several questions. The first one is from Prof. Chanlatis Darawong to Prof. Elisa. The question is about which one of the 4 quadrants, Brave, Strong, Wildcard, and also Business as Usual, and also another one, has the highest proposition into the marketing environment. How should the marketers prepare themselves to cope the situations?
Thank you, Pak Abu di sana. If I get the question right, the question is which of the scenarios have an impact on marketing?
Yes.
I'll put it this way then. If you look at the scenarios, right, and if you look at marketing and digital business, because the topic of today is about digitizing business, strategizing, digitizing business, and since this conference is on marketing, and it is important to highlight the context of scenarios for marketing. So if you consider from a marketing context, right, if you're part of the digital economy or you're part of the academia and you want to relate to the industry about marketing for the future, right? Then it is very important that we normally focus on the last two, which is business as usual or flash in the pan scenario, which means when we have problems with customer delivery, how do you market it, right? How do you make the changes? So most of the time, the socio-economic factors surrounding the digital business is all about whether you are competitive or you're not competitive, how do you come up with the problems, how do you look at the problem, what is the solution? And they're normally short-term based, and that's flash in the pan. And it connects also with business as usual, where business can continue to move forward without necessarily making any change, right? Even if you make any change, embracing technology, it is very much helping you to continue as normal. But if you talk about transformation, digital transformation, that's a different story. The digital transformation actually looks at the entire context of, if you want to embrace technology, what is the important technology that you want to embrace? Why is that? How is that really making a difference for your business and how you relate with the society, with your consumers 10 years down the road? Now, if we talk about what Pak Abdul Moit was saying just now, that the forecast for the economy in the future is much more positive, that there will be growth. If you talk about it, then there'll be back to normal, which is the consumers. There will be consumers will continue, will start to consume product and services will be delivered. There will probably new innovations that did not take on before will take on. Move forward, perhaps commercialize and all that. Yet, if you think about the future cannot be business as usual. The future is a different future now. If we learn anything from COVID, one thing we learned is that one of the things that's going to stay, should stay, or continue to be looked into is workplace well-being, which means working from home must continue to be looked into as a possible option for the employees, or for even for academics. online education will continue. Perhaps now we even talk about the possibility of having microcredit now, micro-credential, and when we talk about the income of the universities has gone down, has transformed from face-to-face towards online learning, and a lot of our customers are coming from China, right? China is moving towards online learning, and they like to come and study with us if we can offer online courses. So if you consider the two other scenarios here, brewing storm and wildcard scenario, the one that we need to be careful will always be wildcard. So of course, it's difficult to know what is a wildcard. Wildcard can be anything. It is the brewing storm here tells us if you move forward, right? If you talk about marketing, you move forward. Should you collaborate? Should you compete? Everyone's talking about the getting back the customers to consume so that there is growth in the economy. But yet, if you look at the question we have here is that because of COVID-19, we're able to stabilize certain aspects of climate change. There was less traveling, less movement, and so our impact on the environment was curtailed, was controlled. So if we look at that perspective, right, if we continue back the normal path we have, we're going to enter another brewing storm. So when it refers to marketing, the role of marketing now is to understand that you want to understand the thinking of the society now has changed, right? We are now much more educated. And if you go to online platform, we will use it to our max. We want to use it to serve our needs. If we don't like anything, we will viral it, right? So the marketing, people from the marketing environment must understand the psychology of the consumers. And so if you want to understand the marketing platform now, it has changed so much to media platform. But this is where we talk about from digital marketing point of view, we want perhaps to look at the brewing storm here is the context of the social media, how the social media is actually allowing us to become digital and ethical digitals, or we call it digital citizenship. Are we marketing products responsibly? Even consumers also coming in and being ethical consumers in the digital environment. And so where marketing comes in, if we talk about marketing products, marketing new services, we want to understand the psychology of the consumers, and we want to avoid a situation where there is a brewing storm where the better able enterprises will come in and take over. So we need to be able to understand that and be able to collaborate with other enterprises and form what we call digital citizenship. That would be a good way forward where marketing is concerned.
Okay, I think so long explanation about how we respond for these situations. Prof. Chalatis, is the answer is address your issue about this topic?
Yes, I am so clear about how marketers can prepare themselves to understand consumer behavior in terms of digitalization. Because as Professor Sharia said that all consumers have been changing for the past 0 months since COVID-19. People get online and have different perceptions towards purchasing online, and we need to know what factors that drives consumers' satisfaction, which is that is the major concerns for today marketing, I think. Thank you, madam.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Chalatis, for the question, and I received to Professor Abdul the questions. It's my questions because Prof. Muhid already highlighted about the back effect of the COVID-19 to especially for small medium enterprises. So could you please share, Prof, about how the government issue any policy to help the SMA to survive in these bad times during, the COVID-19? No, why?
Yeah, sometimes we always that is the we always expect that government will import, will support, etc. But in reality, on the country like Indonesia, and I think we should not rely on the government, because until now the regulation related to the, we call it the sandbox regulation on the marketing, digital marketing, etc. It's not very strong. What we have now is the initiative only from the central bank on the payment, etc. Yeah, only that. But for how? But say when we talk about the digital digital market, or we say what you call it in like Shopee and then Lazada and etc. What we see that we are not anticipating very much on the impact of this change. If we look at the say Lazada, yeah, this is in the study from one friend of mine. They say that almost 80% of the product is imported product. That means we are not anticipating this one. So it is becoming the vehicle of the Chinese company to export directly. It means retail export. That is, I think, the issue that we should make. So in my opinion, I think we have to ask the SME to prepare by this set, don't expect or wait the government intervention to make them better. They have to be more creative individually, and then invest individually, because if we wait and maybe it will never come, the support from the government. That is.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Muhammad. I think I will link with the previous sharing from Professor Elisa, that sharing economy is very, I think we have to thank God that sharing economy happened in today's disruptive condition, because sharing economy can help SME during that times, like maybe Gojek, Grab. They can help the SME, for example, like a food industry or food and beverage SME, to still sell their product while any lockdown or social distancing, they still can survive in that particular technology. So I think there is an interesting discussion for this session, but because of there is a limited time for this session, I will keep the question from this session to another. If we have more time at the end of this next session, I will ask the question to the speakers at the end of next sessions. Okay, thank you very much for the sharing, Professor Elisa Nasruddin and also Professor Abdul Mumin. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we continue to second session of our seminar, and I will introduce the next speakers. Our third speaker is Mr. Chonlatis Terawong, PhD from Thailand. Mr. Chonlatis Terawong, PhD, graduated from Start University, Thailand, on agro-industrial product development for an undergraduate degree, and earned a master's degree in marketing at the National Institute of Development Administration, Thailand. He received a PhD degree in management at the School of Management, ASEAN Institute of Technology, Thailand. Now, he is a lecturer in MBA and DPA programs at the Graduate College of Management, Sri Patung University, Chonburi Campus, Thailand. Previously, he had various academic experiences in Chula Unicert as a researcher, Bangkok School of Management, and also Eastern Asia University as a lecturer. And business practitioners in Appen Propriety Limited, CNET Direct, EFG Company, and Fiji Consolidated Limited Company. Then allow me to welcome Mr. Cholatis Darawong, PhD, to deliver his presentation. Mr. Cholatis Darawong, time is yours.
Hello everyone, my name is Cholatis Darawong. I'm from Thailand, Sripatum University, Chonburi campus. First of all, let me thank Professor Pratik for giving me a chance again to be a guest speaker for the 4th International Conference on Business and Banking Innovations. Today I'm going to be talking about one of the most interesting topics in marketing world, which is blockchain and cryptocurrency, which can be applied in many industries like NFT and metaverse. Now, let's take a look what blockchain is. Okay, blockchain is the technology that is used as a foundation of cryptocurrency. The blockchain was developed by a person of the group of people called Satoshi Nakamoto, Japanese name, whose identity is still unknown today, and it believed that to be a secret organization that made Bitcoin very well known and widely used among investors today. As you can see in the picture, there are several blocks in one chain and they're all linked by a chain. So it is very, very hard to modify the information in each block, because once the data was set in one block, okay, it was given, it cannot be changed without altering all subsequent blocks. Okay, let me talk about two auditing systems in finance industry. The first that we are very familiar with is called traditional system. Okay, the banks in the middle here provides the assurance to both parties. For example, when you want to transfer your money to other countries, like between Thailand and Indonesia, you need to contact the bank to operate the transaction. In this case, you need to pay for a transaction fee and also the exchange rate. Then you have to wait for a couple of days, 3 to 4 days to get the money from the transaction. But the second system, which I'm introducing you now, is blockchain technology. It's typically managed by the peer-to-peer network. As you can see, there are a lot of people who call themselves peers or miners, or who collectively adhere to a protocol to communicate and validate new blocks. So there are around 100,000 miners around the world. And these miners, they have to run process here to create a new Bitcoin by reward and by solving puzzles. It consists of computer systems equipped by specified chips computing to solve mathematical puzzles. So when you see how miner works, they need to have the large warehouse of CPUs, and it produces a lot of heat. That's why the chips in the market for the past years have limited, and they are out of the market because there are a lot of miners who wants to make money from mining process. Okay, so here the picture shows you the block that has been linked by using a code which is called hash. Here, one hash has incredibly long coding language. And here is the brief. If you want to link block 1 to block 2, you need to have the same code or hash. In this case, hash is 1Z85, and block B must have the same hash, 1Z8F. to make the link or to make a chain between two blocks. In reality, that is this is what the computer screen will look like. When someone has changed the information in block B here, it will immediately change to red color. So the peers or the miner will see this change has been changed, and they will come and take a look what's the problem and what is going on. That's why, as I say, they are incredibly difficult for hackers to go into and to change the information in blockchain technology. There could be, but it needs to happen at the same time, which is almost impossible to happen. And again, this is also called consensus protocol, because consensus occurs when there is an agreement from all miners, from all peers around the world. Okay, blockchain technology can be very useful in making an agreement called smart contract. In this case, when two people agree on one conditions, they will write the contract using computer language, and then the agreement in a specific condition and outcomes of that condition is written here. Once it's written, it will be converted to programming code and put in one block. After that, it will be there forever and no one will be able to change it. Once the condition is met, the outcome will be automatically activated. That's why it's called smart contract. And here are some advantages of using blockchain technology. The first one, as I emphasized, it is transparent. So everyone who are miners will see what is going on in one block. If you change it, it will appear in red. The second is immutability. So it is almost impossible to make corrections once you have entered information. It is decentralized, as I said earlier, and it has integrity because you expose and you need to have the consensus agreement. And it is secured, it is impossible to hack, and it gains trust from investors and users around the world. And in Thailand, there are several corporations that have already adopted blockchain technology, especially in banking system. For instance, in the picture, Kasikorn Bank, one of the largest banks in Thailand, also purchased blockchain technology. And SCB stands for Siam Commercial Bank, also adopt blockchain technology in transferring money across the world in a matter of minutes. Now, let me go to the application on top of blockchain technology, which is cryptocurrency. This currency is now very popular among young investors like you because it needs a small amount of money to invest, unlike stock market, and it will give an extremely returns high. So here is a definition of cryptocurrency. It is a digital form or a virtual currency that is secured by cryptography, the computer term, which makes it nearly impossible to counterfeit or double spend. It's like the physical banknotes. Many cryptocurrencies are decentralized networks based on the blockchain technology, as I mentioned. The distributed ledger or peers enforced by the disparate network of computers around the world. And these are history of Bitcoins. As I say, Satoshi made Bitcoin famous in 2008, and to 2020 it continues to grow. And here are famous cryptocurrencies in Thailand. The first one, everybody knows it, Bitcoin. Ethereum, the second one, if you want to trade NFT, you need to have Ethereum currency. Litecoin, Ripple, and Stellar. And here are the 5 most registered companies in Thailand who have authorizations from the Security Exchange Commission. Thailand to sell and buy cryptocurrency. The first one is called Bitcup, Stang Pro. The second one, Huobi, RX, and Zimex. And apart from Thai cryptocurrency, these are global cryptocurrency exchange platforms. Binance, Kraken, Let's Exchange, Crypto.com, and Gemini. As I said, cryptocurrency has a huge risk. The investor has to be aware of the changing and fluctuation of the exchange rate. As you can see, Dogecoin has a very large gap, and as well as Bitcoin and Ethereum. The first and most popular platform or applications in Thailand right now, as you can see there, shows the flex and the fluctuation of the currency. And there are a lot of applications of businesses who accept Bitcoin for the exchange. For instance, you can see on Facebook, people trade Bitcoin to buy Ferrari. And as I said earlier, MST or non-fungible token is also a product that is used to trade among collectors. So the definition of NFT is a unique and non-interchangeable. It's like a cryptocurrency unit or data stored in digital ledger or blockchain technology. So NFT can be associated with items such as photos, videos, audios, or other types of digital files that people like to collect. If you are an artist and you want to sell your collection in digital form, you better use NFT, and people get rich easily because people around the world or collectors around the world can make a purchase instantly. So NFT use blockchain technology as the proof of the ownership. Okay, I give you some example that is very, very high values. Okay, in this case, it's called Disaster Gold. Maybe you are familiar with this picture, NFT. It was sold at almost $500,000 in US. So it is that's why people like to trade their collections through NFT. And this is another one of the most expensive NFT. It was written by Jack Dorsey, who is the founder of Twitter. This is the first Twitter, right? He said, just setting up my Twitter. So this post can be sold at $2.9 million. Can you imagine how expensive it is? And this is another one of the most, it was the most expensive NFT. It cost almost $70 million. All right. And here is the example from Thai NFT. Okay, it was the first cartoon cover page that was sold in 1973. All right, it was the first edition of these comics. With the signature of the editor, this NFT was sold at 7.3 Ethereum, or around 100,000 baht, or 1 million baht, sorry. And this is also another example of NFT from Thai artist. It was handwritten lyrics of one of the most popular Thai songs. It was sold at 1.5 Ethereum, or around 200,000 baht. And not just the regular artists, the famous of fashion industry like Dolce & Gabbana also sell their collections at, as you can see, $5.65 million of NFT merchandise. It is one of the most valuable pieces sold at the auction. So typically there are two platforms of investor or collectors can sell their NFT. The first one is called Foundation. So if you go to this website, you can see a lot of interesting collections you can buy, but using Ethereum or a cryptocurrency. Okay, and the second one is called OpenSea. This is a wider market, and people from different levels can buy NFT for their collections. All right, and here is the last topic that I'd like to talk about, which is metaverse. Meta means beyond, and verse comes from universe. So metaverse is beyond the universe. People can go into the virtual world instead of a physical world. All right, so it means you are in different or virtual world. I'm sure that metaverse is not new for you as gamers who like to play games using VR camera. So it comes to our lives more closely right now. As you can see, people can go into metaverse to meet each other as an avatar, right, for each one. So you don't have to go to the real office. You can go online and meet up with your friends, okay, meet your colleagues, and discuss about the meeting topic. Or you can go to the metaverse to meet up with friends, having a party, going to the concert. That is where marketing will come to sell their virtual products. For example, you want to buy tickets for a concert, or it can be a great opportunity for marketers from many different types of industry to expand their marketing channels and make more sales. So this is where cryptocurrency plays a part for an exchange of products and services.
Well, here we come to the conclusions of my presentation. First of all, cryptocurrency will be widely used in many industries, and there will be a lot of investments in this market. Second, marketing managers and practitioners should be well prepared and get ready for cryptocurrency. They can expand their market using this currency. But remember, cryptocurrency has a lot of risks. You have to know it well before you use it. Okay, thank you very much for your great attention, and I hope you enjoy my presentation today. Here are my contacts. You can ask me for more information. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Prof. Chalatis. It's very interesting topic about the blockchain and also metaverse. And we can realize that those technologies are our reality right now, maybe in the futures. And I think I want to highlight 5 points about the blockchain that maybe is very beneficial for business in the future, about the transparency, and then immutability, decentralization, integrity, and secure. Okay, everyone, any question, please post in the room chat, and then we can discuss about the question after the last speakers. Okay, thank you. Okay, once again, thank you, Prof. Chalatis, for the presentations. And ladies and gentlemen, and all the participants, we continue to our next speaker, and this is the last speaker for our second sections, who is Dr. Sanju Kumar Singh, PPS MSM postdoc from Nepal. Okay, let me introduce Professor Sanju Kumar Singh. Dr. Sanju Kumar Singh currently works as a postdoc fellowship with Dhruv Bhuvan University, Nepal, and University at Lanka. He has published his work in several national and international reputable journals, such as the Journal of Asia Finance, Economics and Business, International Journal of Monetary Economics and Finance, Jurnal Manajemen Teori dan Terapan, Jurnal Ilmiah Manajemen, dan Jurnal Akuntansi dan Keuangan Indonesia. Then allow me to welcome Dr. Sanju Kumar Singh to deliver his presentations. Dr. Sanju Kumar Singh, time is yours.
Am I audible? Can you hear me?
Yes, it's pretty clear. It's clear, Prof.
Okay. I think let me this one. All right. So, what is called? First of all, myself, I would like to introduce myself. I'm Sanju Kumar Singh from Nepal, Kathmandu, Nepal. Currently, I am what is called postdoc fellowship in Erlanga University, Faculty of Economic and Business. And what is called that? First of all, I would like to extend my sincere thanks to Prof. Tatik. She have given me opportunity to share my.
Welcome, Dr. Sanju.
Yes, thank you, Professor. Thank you so much. So, and what is called, I'm so happy and share some of my idea about some point of my view regarding this business and banking innovation. Then I would like to also thanks to for the team, that who are working so hard to make this happen. So. I'm really thanks to everyone and I'm really hearing the Professor Abdul Mongit and our another professor from what is called Malaysia, that's Nasruddin, Professor Nasruddin, and so on, our professor from Thailand. It's a wonderful presentation. So further delaying, I would like to move my presentation because I know everyone is eagerly waiting to present your paper and so on. So let me allow me to share some of my slides. Actually, my slides is not specific in detail in certain like cryptocurrencies and so on. Just I'm just going to share my idea regarding what will be the impact of digital innovation in banking in business. So this is just I want to share some of my slides. Okay, all right. No. I think not. Yes, this is, can you hear well? Okay. So this is the first page. So how big is the banking industry? First of all, before we move about our banking industry, we need to know how big it is. Then we can really assess and what is called that we will be have like a short idea that how big is the banking industry. Then we can estimate like how the technology will be influence in the banking industry. So the profit in the banking industry, this is the one point, the profit in the banking industry with the amount of $788 billion, which is bigger than the profits in any other industry, according to Ramakrishnan 2014. So it is the very big industry. Another is, let me here, so, okay. According to the ADB 2013, the development of ASEAN-based banks with a well-planned market integration is faster than the development of non-ASEAN-based counterpart. So in ASEAN, what is called the banking industry is growing so fast as compared to non-ASEAN countries. And in Malaysia, the development of ASEAN-based banks starts growing in the 2015, but the Philippines and the Thailand countries will triple in 2025 or 2030 with a rather high entry barrier. So it is a start of very rapid growth in these ASEAN countries, especially in the banking. So it is the good news that, and also for in this region, ASEAN region, especially, and the Indonesia will also have the good impact in the banking as well, because Indonesia is the biggest, one of the biggest economic country in this region, ASEAN region. So we can, I have some data from here. We can see asset size of the banking industry. We can figure out from this data, like international 500 commercial assets, asset size, it's $14 billion. So we see country of ASEAN, this asset size country, with the Indonesia, they have, Malaysia, Singapore, Thailand, and other normal banks, ASEAN, average asset size of the banks. So we can see the Malaysia, they have $14 billion. Singapore, they have $14 billion. The asset size of the bank is like the average, the banks in Thailand, they have $10 billion. Other normal banks in ASEAN have $3 billion. Average asset size of ASEAN bank is $4.8. So that means it's still the other countries in ASEAN, like Indonesia or like Vietnam and other countries, they still have there's less bank size is still there. I mean the assets basis of the assets is still low. So this showing that especially Singapore and Malaysia and Thailand are in the top 500 commercial banks according to the on the basis of the asset size. So it's still not that not that much have like assets. It's still need to develop as in according to the ADB 2013. So let's move another side. Okay, I think it's a repeat, I guess, next. Okay, then impact of digitalization in the banking industry. Since COVID-19 outbreak occurred, online business become a part of our life due to their facilities and safety issues. It become more popular. Importantly, digital paying system accelerate the business activities, and it makes business boom. So of course, since COVID-19 outbreak happened, all of we know that we start using all the digital innovations, what is called digital technology, especially in the like a fintech, that we use all of our mobile banking and apps. So all the business become like a like a very easier to do than before you have to go to the banks and all these stops. So now it looks very flexible. The next is number 2 is this. Okay, number 2 is establish the companies are going to adapt their traditional business models with the new digital business environments, leading to business models are digital innovation. So all things turning into the digital. That's we are already aware about it. Number 3, fintech attracting millions of new customers. Competitors are faced with an urgent need to take bold stand. So fintech is now attracting what is called in the very vast way to all the customers who are engaging with the financial activities, whether buyer, whether supplier, or whether seller. I mean, all the activities start keep growing. So that's that's how the competition is higher among the banks as well. Next, I guess it's not moving at all. Okay. So here we have another slides. Slides for banks need overcome these challenges, fundamentally innovate and change themselves in order to thrive in the future. So bank also have facing this very challenge, because the customer what is called the customer need more and more facilities, like especially the financial facilities through the digital innovations. So it becomes very challengeable to the bank, and what is called for the banks, it is become really challenge for the future. So banks need to be considered as well. So the next. So okay. Number 5. Banking industry is undergoing a transformational from traditional interpersonal service to digital financial services, which is being driven by significant technological advancement. So as now we just see our previous professor from Thailand, he shows about digital called blockchain, all the cryptocurrencies. Of course, it's going to very what is called digital technological advancements entering our bank. So this is one of the challenging part for even the customers and for the banks too. So how it will be coordinate, how it will be coordinate in the future. So of course we have to, this is the impact of digitalizations coming in the banking industry. So it's really considerable. Next. See the banking innovation. So that's how the banking digital currencies, cryptocurrencies, and other virtual currencies also. Number 2, m-banking digital payment. Nowadays, of course, all of you are quite familiar to using m-banking, mobile banking, digital payment services like OVO, GoPay and the GrabPay. That's very common in Indonesia. Sorry, the slides is getting stuck. Okay. Another new thing is the innovation is coming like a branchless banking. Nowadays, branches are keep closing because they don't need more staffs. They need like a technological trained staff like who have the idea about like IT and all the information technology and digital idea. So it's become very big challenge like a branchless banking, cost effective and generate target profit. So all the banks also nowadays are looking for cost effective, like how can decrease the cost from having a lot of branches, you have to pay all the operating cost and all those things. So it become like a very costly to the banks. So nowadays this is the big challenge for the banks that they need like a branchless banking, So this is the one of the also the hitting this banking innovation like in a very big challenge for the banks as well. So now I have the data here. We can see here in the data, like in ASEAN countries, internet banking or m-banking users by different age group, like we see there's according to the MC Kinsey survey report 2015, age group C 1 to 29 and 30 to 39, 40 to 49 and 50 to 64. We have several ASEAN countries: Singapore, Indonesia, Malaysia, Philippines, Thailand, and Vietnam. See, Singapore, below 28 age group in Singapore using 100%, using involvement and banking. So that means they are very well technological, technological literacy is very high in Singapore. Even though other old group are also have the very good proportion like 98%, 95%, and 81% simultaneously. So in Indonesia is still lower because just who are higher user are the 1 to 29 years old, 52%, and Malaysia 57%, Philippines 18%, Thailand 22%, Vietnam 60%. It shows that it is according to the country, even though the country have the good banks and well facilitated, but if the people are not really well trained or well access to digital technology, they cannot take the advantage, or all the financial what is called facilities cannot take. So this is the one of the big challenge, and I think the banking innovations our bank should consider about it. This data showing a lot of things about m-banking users in the several ASEAN countries. Well, challenges of banking innovation. The first challenge is challenging to cope with the new innovations. Of course, new innovation is like it's very difficult to adapt with the new innovations. Whatever the new things come, first of all, they don't have idea. They do not have the proper idea about it. So it's a very big challenge to cope with the new innovations. Secondly, need to invest the time and money. So of course, this is very common that you have to invest your time and the money for that technology or that facility, what is called the technology and the digital technology. You need to learn, you need to invest your time and the money to operate and to function it. Third is about ready to update with the new technology in the market, like a blockchain, new apps of different services. So of course, it is coming as a blockchain or like a cryptocurrencies and all the other Bitcoins. It's coming as a very very sophisticated technology. So sounds good, cryptocurrency, but it's another way to to deal with it. So you need to very much be careful about the blockchain, and of course many app services coming like with many facilities. So we need to aware about it. Okay, fourth, readiness to change in the market. So we have to always be ready to whatever the things change coming in the market of in the banking innovation. So we always have to be ready for it. So that's all. Next, opportunities for business through banking innovation. So number one, accelerate the business in the different height. So of course it will be accelerate the business through all the financial facilities. It will be accelerate the business in the different height. Number second, easy to do financial transaction from anywhere. Nowadays, you don't have to move from one physical distance to another physical place to operate all the business. You can do all the financial transaction of regarding any kind of business from your mobile phone or from your what is called through the technologies, whatever your computer or PC, you can operate from anywhere. Easier, time saving due to not moving different places. Of course, it's very easier and time saving. Number 4, get more opportunity to increase your business and the multidisciplinary way. So now everything on your hand, everything is, you have the different kind of facilities from your mobile applications and from your banking. So you can boost your business. Before you can do one more business, but now your time is saved. So after you have all the saving times you can use for another business as well in the same time. So you can have multidisciplinary business you can conduct. So it is possible because of the banking innovations. Okay, let's back to the summary. So this is my summary. In ASEAN countries, the banking industry innovation focus on mobile banking is still not much more expanded in innovation like crypto and other bank system. There are old age people still not feel safe to do financial transaction via online due to the lack of knowledge. Banks need to support and make it friendly for all age groups. Without banking support, it is hard to run the business these days, and especially since COVID-19 outbreak, online transactions become more popular. Moreover, fintech becomes so helpful to boost the business in another level. Another is, this is the age of society 5.0, social media age. Most of young generation like to easily access all of financial transaction from any part of the world. Thus, banks need to shift their way of transaction via digital branch or branchless banking. The last is, the business contribute the economy of each country, and the banking regulations should be technology friendly. Then business can grow faster, thus nation can fulfill their economic target. So that's all. Thank you. This is my contact if any questions, and you may welcome. And thank you so much. This is my presentation.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Sanju, for the interesting presentation about the banking industry innovations. And I'll try to give a brief summation that banking is a very big industry, so it will be impactful by the technology development right now, especially what you said, like blockchains, cryptocurrency, and so on. But although there is many benefit embracing digital technology, but also there is some challenge faced by the banking industry. There are several challenges. There is new innovations and then need big investments. Also ready to face the emerging, one of the emerging technology, blockchain, like Prof. Chong Latis said before, and also readiness to change the markets. Very interesting discussion about the banking industry and digital technology, especially blockchain. So we continue to discuss this second section of the seminar by inviting any questions. I have a couple of questions here in the room chat. The first question is from, I think it's Dr. Nasruddin. This is from Malaysia. This question is addressed to Prof. Chong Latis Terawong about, I will read the questions. The word of the metaverse for the marketing professionals may be artificial. Co-creation with customer requires a genuine understanding on the ground, the needs of customer when we want to deliver services, which are aimed at supporting the needs of the community.
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
Okay. This is about the metaverse. Metaverse is is totally digital or artificial environment, but co-creation with the customer is very important. But we have to going down face to face with the customer. So how the technology, I mean the metaverse, can accommodate co-creation value with the customer in the real community.
Okay, I think in the future, we need to face two worlds at the same time. Okay, sometimes you just can't go to the shop directly because of the pandemic or traffic or pollution. So they can go to Metaverse to see the virtual products. Okay, try to find their functions and to test their qualification that meets their needs. If the qualification meets their needs, so they can go to the physical shop to physically and try the samples of the product by themselves. So it's kind of the omni-channel, as we so-called today marketing strategy, that people go back and forth between virtual and physical worlds. So it's kind of fun, and marketers in many companies right now try to find the space in Metaverse. They have already bought. I will give you an example of Thai businesses that they have already bought the space in Metaverse from Facebook to promote their product in the future, which will come very soon. And people are very aware of it, and especially in terms of financial investment. So not just for the product, but financial service like money transfer, and maybe people can deposit cryptocurrency in the virtual bank in the future. So we can get ready for it.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Tomatis. Yeah, it's very. I think it's maybe Metaverse is like for currently it's like using augmented reality or virtual reality, like what have been done by IKEA. I think IKEA has applied like a virtual reality to give like how the product can be applied in customer rooms. So if it is maybe match with the room, and then they can go the IKEA and then buy the product. Maybe something like that. Yeah. Okay, thank you. And there is another questions to. I think it's go to Dr. Sanju from. I think it's Dr. Nasruddin also. Dr. Sanju, can you hear my voice?
Yes, I can.
Okay, this is there is a question for creative aging society of the future with a high level of savings. It is imperative that the banking industry consider laterally the traditional approach to support these cool customers.
May I have one time? Can you repeat the questions, please?
Okay, sorry if it's not clear. For creative aging society of the future with high level of savings, it is imperative that the banking industry consider laterally the traditional approach to support these cool customers.
Okay. Maybe may I know which slides? Can I have the question in the what is called in the question is in the chat?
Maybe
yes.
Dr. Sanju, maybe I can speak.
Yes, Professor.
Yes, please.
Maybe it's better now. I'm very interested in what you were showing about how Singapore has among the biggest percentage of customers who are into mobile banking.
Yes.
So when you compare it to other Asian countries, we are very low, especially the young, from the young strata population to all strata actually, where Singapore is actually winning. But for say many of us, if you talk about the aging society in the Asian world, we are the ones who save our money. We are the traditional people. We save for the future. We don't spend our money necessarily. We invest, but we may not like the technology. We are averse to technology because we find that it is confusing or it doesn't help us. We want people to come to us and we want people to come to the house and help us sign our documents, and we have a lot of money, right? And we don't want to be bothered by this. And so the banking industry must somehow handle this part because customers, these are gold customers. Customers will invest a lot of money and they're not going to be bothered by figuring it out. I have to fill in a 14-digit code here. I have to upload this code. I have to open this account. I forgot my password. Forgive me. I am not interested in all this.
Yeah.
So I'm not bothered with this. This is going to be the way forward where the aging society will be a lot of us out there and we do not want to be bothered by this stuff. Now, why should we bother with this just because it's coming to into our lives? Maybe the young ones, maybe our children is into it, but we're not, and they don't have that much money, but we have a lot of money. And so how do we tackle this problem?
Oh, well, this is a very interesting. After I see the data, I just really interested. And thank you for the question, Professor Nasruddin. It is indeed, it's very like aging group. It's very challenging, to cope with this situation for the banking. And according to my opinion, what I think, what I know so far, of course, it is bothering, this age group, I don't want to, as you said, kind of fingerprint and so much, signing here and all the pin codes. And we kind of not really willing to very much engage with the technologies related things. But that is called, just my opinion, that is called, that's digital literacy. This is the time, this is the era of the digital literacy. So we need to cope with the both sides. We need to also, bank also need to consider how can we make easier, or how can we more communicate, in a maybe behavioral. We need to, the banking innovation does not depend on technology, but also need to see from the behavioral side, how we can cope with the behavioral side. Maybe we need to make some old senior citizenship program according to the age group, maybe inviting some good programs respecting them, and slowly giving with also giving awareness of financial technology. So it might be one of the way, I guess, I think, one of the way to involving to the different age group, to especially the middle age who have good money. They can, we can motivate, we can motivate by that way, maybe by some different kind of programs, I guess. I think that's my idea is. So we can try as a bankers, as a bank point of view. Bank need to invite, a bank need to create some programs, especially to treating a behavior, some sort of citizenship program. We can give maybe we can respect some award or something. You are this age group, and what is called, we can. Yeah, a behavioral aspect, we make motivate them. Yes, we are welcoming to you, and you are welcome. You don't have any, we not make you a lot of all these digital stuffs to do. So we are very friendly. So we make them behaviorally oh yeah, this bank is pretty much this technology is pretty much friendly with also as group. So I don't think so this is going to be very much sophisticated. So they feel very easy and feel convenient to save their money and do the more transaction with the banks. That's my opinion. Is it
Oh, thank you, Dr. Sanju. I mean, it's an interesting thing because we embrace technology without questioning. Yet concern we see, actually, if everything is easily digitized, then the work falls on the consumers now, on the customers to do everything, because then the work of the burden falls on us. We got to do it accurately. We got to make sure we know it. We have to learn the technology. It works. This philosophy works the same way even in an academic community right now in the higher education, because the students are customers, have to learn how to use technology. The academics have to learn how to use technology. And if about metaverse, my God, we have to learn how to use metaverse now. We have to headgear and understand that headgear. it's very actually, if you put on headgear for too long, it cause you a headache. You're gonna spin it, and you just cannot continue doing it all too long, right? So I'm wondering, however, technology now is making, we are now servants to technology, or I don't know. I'm thinking out loud, because now it will make the life of the banking environment or the business even much easier, because we are the ones who have to figure things out. I mean, I think there will be a point in time where stakeholders, people of the society might just lash out and say enough with the digital world, where even if you thought digital literacy is saying that we are illiterate. I mean, we are assuming everybody is illiterate. I mean, and yet we have been literate all this while. We are intelligent people, and now become unintelligent. Oh gosh.
That's the point, you know. We just, you know, caught with another things new come, another coming in the market, another
that's right. That's right.
Now we have to deal with the cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, and all the blockchain things. So we have, I mean, just like,
like what Dr. Chon Latis was saying. When I look at it, I was going like, okay, there's so much I don't know about the blockchain technology.
It's like all the codes is coming up, and it's like in your brain is, we already study so hard, we already educated, but we are not really friendly with digital again, and we have to turn another way. So just what I think that, Professor, for targeting the old citizenship, we have to like you know, the bank need to take initiative, like, you know, especially treating, like, facilitate them with some facilities, like, you know, some are like, you know, going to the home, or maybe you just have to certain things to do, and then we can, you know, helping with the supporting with this way, maybe it can help, like, you know, kind of like reduce the stress of the customers, because we are afraid of the technology so much. I think that's the one of the way we can.
But I also think that for marketing, and for perhaps where we are today about marketing, if everybody is going digital, then there is opportunity for us to go face-to-face as well. So there is a gap. So those who are embracing face-to-face, they may be the one getting the customers now, because everybody is going digital, and people do not know how to be, you know, there is no connection face-to-face, very little of that. But those who are embracing face-to-face marketing, you might be leading the way.
Right. I agree. I think we cannot deny still go to but we have to, you know, that's reduce the branches like before, like a face-to-face, but we still have to keep it, because we need because we are human being, you know, we cannot direct, we cannot 100%, we cannot reduce, but we can reduce with certain things, but we cannot 100% reduce, because we are the human, we need physical to see who is this person. Even though you want to, how many, like, you know, what kind of technology come, we still need fingerprint, we still need eyes, we still need all these things, you know?
And you can see that there will be a lot of cyber theft along the way, right? People who find their income through the black market, through this way, trying to find way to cheat through, and this will be one of the trend setters.
Right. That's the point, you know. We still have to, I mean, according I mean, that different age group who are old citizen or citizen who have more money, we may attract with maybe some certain reward meeting, and then we may also introduce slowly by slowly, and then also need to facilitate. So that might be one of the good way to, like, you know, inviting or like what is called, you know, accelerating the financial transaction of the, you know, that much money or that customer. So that's what I think and I realize.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Professor.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Sanju and Dr. Nasruddin for the interesting discussion about the what we call like metaverse, blockchain, and anything. And there is another interesting question related to the previous discussion. This question is addressed to Professor Chalatis from Popita Novita. Okay, I'll try to simplify the question. Is now we are in a semi-traditional environment, but in the future we are facing metaverse as our new environment in digital technology. So how we can switch our paradigm to these meta-traditional transactions?
I read this question, but to be honest, I don't understand. I don't understand what he means by that. Can you give me more definition of how do we change the paradigm to? I don't get it. Sorry.
Or maybe I invite Poppy Novita, Miss Poppy Novita, if available, maybe can join the discussions.
Yes, thank you very much, Professor. My question is like that we are in traditional mindset, right? Now we are moving forward. First the digital financial, now the metaverse. So how can we embrace that new technology? So how can we switch for the common people, for the commoner? Thank you very much.
Abu, can you repeat that, please?
Pardon? I think it's...
Can you repeat her question?
Ms. Novita, can you repeat the question?
Okay.
Can we?
Because I'm on way to another city. Pak moderator, can you what do you call it? Ask again the professor. My question is how we can put our paradigm. So now we are like before the speaker said that we are the traditional one. We are thinking that
I
her
think
voice is gone.
It's a bad connection.
mobile banking.
Can you please stop your car for a minute?
Okay, maybe I try to have the Ms. Poppy Novita. We are now not all of us is ready to face the digital era. Some of us is a traditional mindset. So how we treat that particular society, meaning the traditional one, in facing the new one, is the new environment like a metaverse.
Oh, there are so many factors that people can embrace new technology. First of all, you have to think in terms of national infrastructure.
All right.
Okay? If Indonesia doesn't have supporting infrastructure enough, so the internet is not quick, the bandwidth is not wide enough, so people can be involved, can get involved in the metaverse or virtual world. But I believe that all countries, especially in Southeast Asia, they tend to adopt new technologies in terms of communication infrastructure. Especially right now, Thailand adopts 5G technology, which is quick enough to send pictures or even video clips across the country. So in medical treatment, doctors, right now we are, as you know, we have a shortage of doctors. So doctors from other provinces can operate the patient without physically go to the hospital. So this shows the importance of infrastructure in the nation. I believe this is the first factor. And the second one is the consumer perception. If people are not ready for using online technology, so they don't have the knowledge or digital literacy enough, so that could be scam. Right now, just a couple of days ago, the government, Thai government issued new online service to submit the report of online scam. Now Thai people are tricked by sellers because they buy the product, but they get the fake product or the low quality product than they're perceived from the advertising. So that is one of the factors that people are all us have to be concerned whether we are ready to move the paradigm to the online or metaverse society.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Chonlatis. I think the answer can answer the Prof's questions. So I think the time is over. Firstly, I apologize for any participant that already delivered the question in the room chat that I cannot discuss with the speaker. I'm so sorry, but maybe you can contact each speaker to make a own discussion for the further discussion for the topic that you questioning. Okay. Once again, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to all the speakers for the informative and interesting presentation and also discussions, and all the participants for the very active participation in these occasions. And finally, give a big applause to the speakers and to all of us for the participation in this international marketing seminar. Once again, thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I pass the next session to the MC. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Abu Amar Fauzi, for guiding the discussion.
Dear all the participants, we are going to reach the peak of the events. For the next session is a giving of appreciation for the speakers and moderator. First, the appreciation are for Mr. Abu Amar Fauzi as the moderator.
Thank you so much, Mr. Abu Amar Fauzi.
Second, Professor Dr. Abdul Mungit, MA PhD, as the speaker from Indonesia.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prof. Mungit.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Third, Mr. Chonlatis Darawong, PhD, as the speaker from Thailand.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prof. Chonlatis.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, all of you. ขอบคุณครับ ขอบคุณครับ
ขอบคุณครับ
Mrs. Associated Professor Dr. Elisha Nasruddin as the speaker from Malaysia.
Thank you so much. Thank you
Thank
very
you,
much.
terima kasih.
Terima kasih.
Sama-sama, terima kasih.
And the last, Mr. Sanju Kumar Singh as the speaker from Nepal.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Sanju.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Sanju.
Thank you. Terima kasih.
Thank you very much for the keynote speakers and moderator for sharing the topic with us today.
Before we go to the next session, I would like to give you something. There's an announcement to call for paper. First, participant enters room start at 12 until 12:30. Then you have to rename your username or your Zoom's name with the format class _name _institution. And the third is click join Zoom class. Fourth, attending conference activities. And the last one is, if until the time the presenters have not sent a video presentation, the presenters can present directly.
For the next session, it's a group photo session. Please turn on your camera, and for the committee, please join the session.
เดี๋ยวนะเขาถ่ายรูปก่อน
Excuse me. To all the participants, please turn on your camera. I will waiting for photo session. Okay. Here there are 7 slides. For slide 1, 1, 2, 3. Okay. For slide 2, 1, 2, 3. Okay. For slide 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you very much.
We would like to remind all of the participants to fill in the attendance and evaluation through the provided link.
Pada pandangan pertama, emang udah
falling in love.
Airnya itu bening.
Desainnya keren banget.
Fresh, lebih plong, rasanya enak banget.
Badan berasa jauh lebih enteng. Jadi keterusan ya sampai sekarang.
Karena Le Mineral berbeda. Sumber airnya dari pegunungan terpilih, sehingga kandungan mineralnya baik bagi tubuh kita. Satu-satunya yang keras sebelum dibuka dan disegel untuk cegah pemalsuan. Sehingga aman sampai ke tangan kita.
Pantes kalau minum Le Mineral, badan berasa lebih enak ya.
segernya juga beda.
Kayak ada manis-manisnya.
Kayak kamu, manis.
Air mineral, jelas Le Mineral.
Aku harap ya, Pak Roni minta foto tak kayak notin dulu.
Thank you for filling the attendance link and evaluation form.
Finally, we have filled all the agenda of the International Marketing Seminars and the 4th International Conference on Business and Banking Innovations today. Don't forget to come again at noon for the paper presentation session.
From the deep of our heart, let us express our huge thanks to all of you. May what we had discussed will be useful for all of us. Lastly, we are sorry if there is any mistakes. Thank you very much for your attention. Keep staying healthy and success. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
See ya. Goodbye.
Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam. See you next time. Thank you so much.
Thank you. See you at 1 o'clock, right?
See you at the next conference of
Can you please send me the certificate? Can you please send me the certificate?
Yes, Mr. Donatus, we will send you the certificate.
All right, thank you.
Okay, Dr.
You have one?
Talantis, I will send the photos and also the certificate after this.
Thank you, Professor. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome, most welcome.
Pendidikan.
All right, have a good lunch.
Thank you. Have good lunch too.
Saudara, sistem pembelajaran secara daring terpaksa masih harus.
Saudara, dampak mewabahnya virus corona kini juga telah dirasakan oleh dunia pendidikan.